Okay.
Alright, so as we go to try to find the beginning of the lung channel, we got to talk about body measurements. So the primary unit of measure in the body is the sun, either CUN or TSUN. I see it both ways. Between the creases of, so where's your, actually we got one of those pencils. So between the creases, that is one sun. You may also see some people talk about the difference between your nail bed, which is also fairly close. So that's one sun. Some other shortcuts between these points of your hand is
Can you make it darker?
3 sun. So just from the MP joint, the thumb side of that joint, to the edge of your hand, that's 3 sun. So there's a couple. The other way you can do it is if you know that certain body units have a specific measurement. This, from the eyebrows to the forehead, is 3 sun. And let's see how close that is. So take your hand. Remember, these are patient specific. So take your palm like this. Let's see if that comes out to about 3 sun. Pretty close, right? So from here to here is about 3 sun on her. From stomach 8 to stomach 8, head binding, this is 8 sun. For more specific to the lung, we're going to find the collarbone. This is also 8 sun. From the medial aspect of the collarbone to the lateral aspect. Now what you can do, one of the shortcuts is, if you want to find the middle, just get a point. This is about halfway in between. This should be about where the stomach channel crosses over. The lung is actually going to be 6 sun. So you divide that into, you can do it into, right? So now I have, let me get this down, should be 2, 4, 6, so half and then half again. So it's usually right about where that makes that that little curve down. Underneath it, you're going to should feel the coracoid process. Should be right there. Lung 2, which is, again, we're kind of getting them out of order. So it's about, so this is half roughly. This would be about 6 sun. So we're going to come down. Here's lung 2. Lung 1 is 1 sun inferior, and there's kind of, and most of these points are going to be right in a kind of a natural divot. So that's lung 1. I won't bother taking these points. So once you find that, so 6 sun under the coracoid process, that's really where the lung channel starts. It's going to come up over the top and kind of follow down here. 3 and 4 up on the upper arm. I really wouldn't bother at this point finding those because they're rarely used except for local conditions. The next biggest one is going to be at the biceps tendon. The radial side of this biceps tendon, as we hold this out, so at the crease, that's 3, right in there. So again, biceps tendon. And again, a lot of times you'll get close, you'll find that biceps tendon, and you'll just kind of feel for a divot. Sometimes there's a tender nodule. Is there one there? So that's a big one. We won't concern ourselves right now. Again, probably the next biggest one that comes off, there's some significant points down here. 6 is important, but if you, how is this? Oh, this is the way. As you take, this is shortcut hand. So if you put your web of your hand in here, now again, mine's going to be a little long if I ideally had her do it. Her fingertip is going to be right about where lung 7 is. So there's a couple of shortcut ways. Again, radial styloid is going to be right around in there. We'll talk about that because that's lung 7 is pretty important. 8 and 9 is at the wrist crease. Again, this is a significant one because it's going to be a stream point. Feel for the pulse, should be on the radial side of that.
And that was 9, correct?
This is 9. 10 is right here. This one's actually used quite a bit for sore throats. And rarely do you use the terminal points, right? Because they end up, they're more for awakening, I guess. This is actually one where you might bite down on it to revive consciousness. I've seen that done with the heart and pericardium, or pericardium panel too. And then we got large intestine. Again, nail bed comes out, LI4, significant. Right in the middle. The shortcut for this one is put your crease right in there. It's the highest point. It's called Hegu. Hegu. Then we're going to go up to the outer lateral portion of this radial, right? Again, right at the crease up here. It's going to follow up the outer portion of the elbow, or the shoulder. Again, thinking about this whole concept of yin and yang, right? So one of the distinguishing features here is at the border of the red and white skin. Kind of keep that same visualization. We're almost using more brachioradialis and this radial as kind of our midline. When we come up here, it's going to be more of the deltoid. So there's a couple of significant points up by the shoulder. We'll get to the base of the deltoid as one. You're going to get right in. There's actually one in the shoulder joint here on the top. And as you turn the head just slightly, this is one that rarely, so I would rarely, if ever, needle anything on the chest, just because of the possibility of pneumothorax. If you did any of these, definitely do not go straight in. Always oblique to the wall. You don't want to penetrate the lungs, because that's a quick way to the hospital and a malpractice and rate for you. At the level of the thyroid, 18, it will kind of travel up just under the nose and then cross over to eventually the other side. I will make these very light, but that's where 20 is right there. So that's where it ends up, again, kind of coming through this area. So that's lung and large intestine. So know those points, especially the beginning and the end, and kind of the general pathway. When we get in, we'll start talking about each of these, because each of these measurements, this is 9, this is 12 soon. I actually have there's a chart that I'll put out on the Jewel page that'll kind of help you remember these, and you just have to remember those relationships. But that's probably the quickest way is this finding the points and then kind of visually splitting in half, and then once you've got it close, kind of feel for those points. Good enough?
Yeah.
10 minutes, give you a little bit of a break.